use of chemical weapons. They predict it. They predict more use of chemical weapons. This is how they give their statements to the British public and to the world. And he goes on to say, information chips implanted in the brain, electromagnetic pulse weapons, the middle classes becoming revolutionary, taking on the role of Marxist proletariat, the population of countries in the Middle East increasing by 132%, while Europe's drops as fertility falls. Flash mobs, they love the lingo. Lingo is these little words that they came up with, flash mobs. Flash mobs, which are groups rapidly mobilized by criminal gangs or terrorist groups. Now remember, criminal is a term that can be put on anybody or any group or any nation, in fact. So anyone can become a criminal depending on what law is passed about whatever topic. If you wore yellow clothes and it was forbidden, you'd suddenly become a criminal. Now, why would the middle classes become revolutionary? It doesn't explain that part, you see. It means that something's going to happen to the middle classes to make them revolutionary. And who has all this weaponry? Well, the elite have at the top. Who has the ability to make us all sterile? Well, the elite have at the top. They have it all. Who has the ability to make the middle classes revolutionary? It's because the elite, whatever they do to the rest of them, would make it so. Everything they mention there, actually, you see, is going to be caused by the elite themselves. This is the world in 30 years' time, envisaged by a Ministry of Defence team responsible for painting a picture of the future strategic context. They love these terms, that psychopathic term. They love these little terms, you see. Likely to face Britain's armed forces. Rear Admiral Chris Parry, head of the Ministry of Defence Development Concepts and Doctrine Centre. See, they've got a Concept and Doctrine Centre. When we're all sitting humming along the songs that are churned out, if you don't understand them these days, and soaking up the movies to give us predictive programming to escape a little bit of misery in our lives, or whatever it is that we do to get relief. These characters have these think tanks and they go 24 hours a day in shifts, working in shifts. Unlimited financing for the computers and staff because we pay for it all through taxes. To dream up things that they're going to do to us, you see. So the Concepts and Doctrine Centre, which drew up the report, describes the assessments as probability-based rather than predictive. Now, isn't that interesting? The development of neutron weapons, which destroy living organs but not buildings, might make a weapon of choice for extreme ethnic cleansing in an increasingly populated world. We should listen to that again, eh? Shall we listen to that again, boys and girls? All you who are unauthorized to communicate with each other. The development of neutron weapons, which destroy living organs but not buildings, might make a weapon of choice for extreme ethnic cleansing in an increasingly populated world. Well, of course, that will be the middle classes that will be doing that, right? Or maybe the lower classes. If they have a whip round with their hats and collect enough little coin, they can build these weapons. Well, of course not. They're telling you here it's themselves that might make a weapon of choice for extreme ethnic cleansing in an increasingly populated world. Which also tells you that they've discussed the scenario of what ethnic groups they want to cleanse. For extreme ethnic cleansing in an increasingly populated world. The purpose is to depopulate. So which ones will they start with? This has all been discussed already long ago. The explicit use of chemical, biological, radiological and nuclear weapons and devices delivered by unmanned vehicles or missiles. This is all their stuff, you see. They already have all this. Now, once again, they're going to start off by putting it off way in the future, like the one day they'll be able to do this, just they haven't quite got the bugs ironed out of the thing yet, the gizmo they're going to use, to make us think, oh, we can be safe, quiet network can be safe now. That's off in the future. This is old stuff. This is a predictive programming.
is the end of the world!
It was an epidemic unlike any other. Within days, millions were infected. Within weeks, they were forced together.
Containment is our absolute priority. Blockade all bridges, streets, and rail links.
And then left to die.
Until this spraying above us is stopped completely, it doesn't bode well for us at all, because the chemicals in the spray is really targeting humans in a big way. Never mind the bronchial infections, that's only one side effect of this. Part of the purpose of scalar weaponry is to basically make the atmosphere a better circuit for the HARP technologies to use. That's why they use barium particles and aluminum oxide particles, amongst others, is all to make the atmosphere a superconductor, and they can then broadcast the HARP pulsation, the secondary wave carried on, the first one, the primary, and this is meant to affect your mood or your behavior. This is written into the Treaty on Weather Warfare at the United Nations. It's worth looking up to see what they've written into that. All of the effects, including the earthquakes, the tsunamis, droughts or floods, or even hurricane creation or tornadoes, is all written into that treaty, written in the 1970s, which meant it had already been tried and tested for them to write all of that in. But definitely the mind control aspect is rather scary. Brzezinski, in Between Two Ages, put a chapter called the Technotronic Era, where psychotronic, that's mind and electronics combined basically, will affect everybody within the continents for control purposes. And he said, and then coupled that with the aerial spraying containing aluminum oxides, etc., you make a highly charged atmosphere. The public breathe it in, it's in their food, it's in their water. They become almost walking antennas. And so this is all being used. Lord Bertrand Russell, in his book, The Impact of Science on Society, says the same thing.